Professor Muthu De Silva. Professor De Silva is a professor in innovation and entrepreneurship and the Assistant Dean Research at Birkbeck, University of London, UK. Her research advances our understanding on co-creation. In particular, she has contributed to our knowledge on how actors in an ecosystem engaged in co-creation and associated good practices, capabilities, intellectual property, and impact. She has published in world-leading journals such as Research Policy, Journal of Organizational Behavior, British Journal of Management, R&D Management, and Technovation, among others. She has secured major grants from Innovate UK, Intellectual Property Office, EU, and British Academy Leverhulme, OECD, and British Academy of Management. Professor De Silva is a Fellow of the Royal Society for the Encouragement of Arts, Manufactures and Commerce, and she is in the editorial board of the British Journal of Management. So with this introduction, it's now our honor to hear her speak tonight. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Professor Muthu De Silva.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me, see me, and also you can see my slides. So if someone tells me if everything is okay, perhaps I could make a start.
We can hear you. We can hear you. We can see your slide. Give us a second while we get you on the screen as well. Just give us a second. We are trying to arrange you to be on the screen along with your slide. Yes, now we can see you, and I hope we get your slide up as well. Give us a couple of seconds, Professor.
Sure. Well,
all right, there we go.
Okay,
we're ready.
That's perfect. Thank you. So good evening, everyone. And I have to start by saying such a great keynote speech by Professor Basant. I'm like, I cannot sing, so I should have practiced some dancing routines, but now I'm too late. So sorry, you won't be hearing music with me, but I'll try my level best to make the presentation as interesting as possible. Okay, thank you very much for inviting me to join the International Conference on Sustainable and Digital Business. So first, I would like to congratulate SLIIT Business School for organizing this excellent conference. Well, as you may have figured out from my name, my roots are in Sri Lanka. So I'm extremely grateful to Mother Sri Lanka for offering me a very strong foundation, which was then further developed by the UK. It is really great to see how a Sri Lankan business school thrives in the international arena. So I'm extremely proud of SLIIT Business School. I'm very sorry today I could not join you in person because after this speech, I have to join a panel discussion and then to engage in teaching. Well, the life of an academic, right? I'm sure many of you in this room are familiar with this particular routine. Okay, so in my speech, by drawing on multiple research that I have conducted, I will share with you some insights on how we could use co-creation as a mechanism for resolving grand challenges. So my speech will closely align with as well as complement the valuable insight shared by Professor Basant. So as we all know, sustainable developmental goals are unable to be achieved within a single organizational boundary. Therefore, businesses, governments, academics, intermediaries, and citizens should integrate their knowledge, resources, and networks to address grand challenges. So this is where co-creation comes to play. Co-creation involves a close working relationship between actors of an innovation ecosystem to jointly address grand challenges. Co-creation is not a substitute for internal research and development activities or knowledge transfer, but it is suitable for addressing grand challenges that cannot be resolved within a single organizational boundary. So while institutions are important, as also Professor Besant said, people are the key for co-creation. Since co-creation involves non-linear, bilateral working relationship with different actors, it is a quite complex process. Therefore, it is very important that we support people from different organizations working together for co-creation by offering them resources, skill development opportunities, and rewards. In this presentation, I will discuss two key elements. First, I will present a few examples of co-creation initiatives that resolve grand challenges, and then I will discuss good practices for making co-creation a success. In terms of different examples of co-creation, I would like to draw your attention to the work that I have jointly conducted with the OECD, during which we have discussed 30 international co-creation case studies that were aimed at resolving COVID-19 crisis. Well, the greatest challenge of a century that humankind has faced. In this speech, I will briefly explain 4 types of co-creation cases that we have discussed in these 2 reports. But of course, if you are interested in, please feel free to read these 2 reports. You could access these free, and you could use these links to access. First of the 4 types that I would discuss today is the umbrella programs for co-creation. So these are usually government-led large programs that offer funding, expertise, and resources to support the ecosystem to co-create. So as these programs are complex, they are often managed by a core team who administer the support via an open call to which several co-creation projects can apply. A key characteristic of these programs is the combination of top-down and bottom-up approaches. In terms of top-down, the government, in close collaboration with national research councils, define broad challenges to be addressed by projects, and then they convert these to a call for project proposals. So in terms of bottom-up, the respective projects that have been awarded funding and resources bring in their individual innovative approaches in developing specific solutions in collaboration with their own ecosystem partners. So an example is Canada's Global Innovation Cluster Program. So these clusters bring together private companies of all sizes, academic institutions, government, and not-for-profit organizations to create new possibilities for innovation and collaboration. The clusters advertise open calls, inviting actors of the ecosystem to together apply for large-scale co-creation projects to address grand challenges. So from early 2020, this program was leveraged to address the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic and funded over 80 COVID-19 related co-creation projects proposed by ecosystem actors. The second type of co-creation initiative that we have identified is the projects for co-creation network building. This type of projects are aimed at connecting individuals and organizations as temporary task-oriented teams to engage in co-creation to resolve grand challenges. The core task of the initiative is to bring together actors from industry, research, and civil society to co-create. An example of this type of co-creation is the COVID Pop-up Hub. So this enables community-based policymaking by gathering experience and ideas from various actors within the innovation ecosystem. The core element was a digital discussion platform administered by partner organizations, which was open to experts as well as public to participate. The hub connected individuals to offer innovative solutions in 4 key areas: digital health, distancing, economic buffers, and state intervention. The third type of co-creation that we have identified is the co-creation for product innovation. This required combining different skills, resources, and production capacities for product innovation. Here, the example that I would like to highlight is Wild Labs Tech Hub. As you could see in this diagram, several partners are working together to mitigate illegal wildlife trade. So their model is very interesting. So for instance, this partnership is aimed at accelerating 4 startups who innovate new products to mitigate illegal wildlife trades. So here in the middle box, you could see these 4 startups. So these startups work closely with their funders, technical infrastructure providers, external networks, as well as UK Caterpillar centers for product innovation and its commercialization. The 4th type of co-creation initiative that I would like to highlight is the projects for co-creation in data-related innovation. So these are collaborations aimed at providing access to data and evidence and their rapid analysis and integration in order to support research, innovation, policy decisions, and awareness raising. So such initiatives have used high-performance computing, online platforms, and mobile apps. An example is the COVID-19 High-Performance Computing Consortium. So this was a public-private consortium which pooled high-performance computing capabilities. High-performance computing accelerated the data processing power and supported research projects across 17 countries that required accelerated speed of simulation to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. Finally, I would like to bring an example that combines the characteristics of the 4 types of co-creation initiatives that I have discussed so far. This is co-creation for green transition. So this is the Aspern.Mobil LAB initiative established by Vienna University of Technology. This labs allows academics and students to co-create with companies, citizens, and government of Vienna for a more sustainable, affordable, and inclusive transport mobility system. So this is one of the living labs of the Austrian Mobility Lab initiative launched by the government. So to some extent resembling the first type I discussed, which was the umbrella programs for co-creation. Also, this initiative co-creates ideas, data, research outputs, and products using innovative co-creation models such as pop-up labs, games, idea competition, and research maths. So in this way, it combines other 3 types that I have discussed. Especially this example is from the latest project that I'm engaged with the OECD. So in this project, we are currently conducting case studies. So therefore, if you are aware of any university-led co-creation initiatives aimed at green transition that you think could feature in the OECD report, please let me know. And the reason why I thought of highlighting these different types of co-creation initiatives is to offer you a broad idea of what co-creation means, and more importantly, to outline the significance of designing the most appropriate co-creation model to achieve our own objectives. So if our objectives align with some of these exemplary initiatives, we could then gain insights as to how to design our own co-creation model. So I will now very quickly discuss how to make co-creation a success by looking at 3 key areas of best practices. The first aspect that I would like to look at is the incentives. As we know, it is very important that we understand the motivation of those who are engaged in co-creation and offer relevant incentives. A key incentive for partners to engage in co-creation to resolve grand challenges is to generate social value by offering solutions. However, it is really interesting that there are several other motives, as you could see in the slide, that complement with the drive to generate social value. Therefore, especially when we design co-creation initiatives to resolve grand challenges, it is important to offer opportunities to achieve these additional motives that may range from the need for strategic network building, learning of future value, and funding. Now, if we look at the best practices related to the mode of interaction, multidisciplinary teams generate impactful solutions. So they combine diverse range of expertise, technologies, and infrastructure from different disciplines that was required to address grand challenges. So especially during the pandemic, since it was important to derive solutions promptly, multidisciplinary teams in fact engage in very fast co-creation. This was quite interesting. Usually, we think that multidisciplinary teams are more suitable for long-term, slow-progressing projects. Therefore, multidisciplinary co-creation during the pandemic offered a good test bed to understand how rapid multidisciplinary co-creation could be achieved. So especially the best practices that I'm discussing in this speech enable that rapidness. So we have also observed creative co-creation models such as pop-up hubs, hackathons, and digital platforms. So these different models made sure that they efficiently bring right partners and offer conducive conditions for co-creation. Also, the adoption of agile management practices and streamlining of processes that enable the smooth operation are key, especially as the co-creation involves multiple heterogeneous parties working together. Standard processes should be streamlined if we are to increase the speed at which the grand challenges are addressed. So I'm not going to go into the details, but you could see some of the ways in which these practices could be streamlined here. But for more information, I would say please read the OECD report and some of the references that I'll present at the end of this presentation. And then it is extremely important to adopt relational capabilities to manage relationships. Most of the co-creation initiatives selected partners with whom they have had previous positive relationships. Yet, the management of the relationship is facilitated by at least 2 key relational capabilities that Professor Besant very nicely mentioned as dynamic capabilities: relational communication and relational closeness. So relational communication involves engaging in transparent, team-level communication with ongoing commitment and obligations. Relational closeness capabilities include collaborators trying to be close to each other by matching each other's routines and practices and trying to achieve a shared understanding. Finally, there were many enablers that facilitated successful co-creation. First, we found that digital proximity played a key role. Rapid multidisciplinary co-creation is achieved through digital means of co-creation. Therefore, how close you are in terms of digital means that we name here as digital proximity is very important. We have found 4 key elements of digital proximity. So these are use of digital platforms, digital communication, improving processes by capitalizing on digitalization, and building trust through digitally. Also, the urgent formation of co-creation initiatives was facilitated by adopting innovative ways to leverage existing network, knowledge, technologies, infrastructure, and policy programs. Another key enabler was the government. Governments play multiple roles of acting as an investor and regulator, enabler of rapid mobilization by using its power and network, by working closely with co-creation teams, by endorsing projects to increase stakeholder engagement and trust, and by directly leading co-creation initiatives to tackle the crisis. So while co-creation could primarily be aimed at resolving immediate challenges, planning to generate innovation of future value ensures the sustainability of impacts generated through co-creation. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. In summary, I hope that I managed to convince our excellent audience that co-creation is a very important mechanism to resolve grand challenges, and designing a suitable co-creation model and adopting best practices in relation to offering incentives, engaging in productive interactions, and using the enablers of co-creation initiatives would result in success. So these are the references that I have used, especially I mentioned these so that you could learn more by clicking those links. And finally, I would also like to mention an additional point. The SLIIT Business School, especially the team led by Dr. Shante Yapa, and the Center for Innovation Management Research at Birkbeck, University of London, are organizing a joint workshop on academic entrepreneurship. So it will be held in late February or early March 2023. So we will let you know more details once we finalize the agenda, but let me take this opportunity to cordially invite you all for this event too. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to contact me. So I wish you all a productive and wonderful rest of the conference. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. Let's put our hands together as we thank Professor De Silva for sharing her time and her expertise with us. And I'm sure we all learned quite a few things about how we can use co-creation as a mechanism to solve grand challenges. Well, ladies and gentlemen,